So what's happening, guys? Going live. We're going to talk about creatine. I'm going to hop on to Consumer Labs and show you a few supplements that actually have been tested for potency and all that stuff. That just in case you guys are interested. But also going to talk about creatine as well. Just going to give it a few minutes, see if anybody pops on. I know it's an odd time of the day. It's Sunday. What time is it? It's like 5 o'clock. So give it a couple minutes. Went out today to Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's kind of fun. There's a place out there called Solitaire. You guys are going to check it out on the Ghost Adventures. I guess it's supposed to be haunted. So I went by there, took some pictures of Salt Lake. It's pretty cool. Let's say give it a few minutes here. We'll get into this a little bit. Let's just jump into it. This will be recorded anyways. So we're going to go over creatine here. Best forms of creatine. So there's a study that actually I posted under my last live as far as what did they do? They went over different forms of creatine. There was a few of them. It was magnesium creatine. It was creatine pyrite. It was creatine citrate, malate, ethyl ester, and nitrate. And they compared it to the creatine mono in studies and found there was no difference, just so you guys know, in between the absorption of the creatine. A little bit about creatine as far as dosing, because I get this asked a lot. Just so you guys know, you only need, let's say if you're 170 pounds to 200 pounds, you literally only need about 4 grams of creatine. 3 grams of creatine, probably about that 170 mark. And then as you get up to 200, maybe about 4 grams. They did a study a while back, which I don't have it here with me, but if I remember right, it was 3 to 5 grams. And they tried to see if there was a difference in energy output, muscle size, lean muscle mass, all that good stuff. And there was no difference between 3 grams and 5 grams. So if you stay within that type of a grammage, as far as 3 to 5 grams, and that way it doesn't hit your pocketbook trying to go over 5 grams, you're going to be fine. As a type 1 diabetic, because muscle breakdown and creatine, when creatine phosphate is broken down, it turns into creatine, and it's secreted through the kidneys and out the body. I actually I'm 210 pounds. When I do take creatine, it's not my favorite supplement, to be honest with you, but I have taken it over the years, and I do notice energy production, increased energy production, power output in the gym. I take 4 grams. So I usually I stay within that 3 to 5 gram mark, so to speak. So if you're diabetic out there, you might want to consider that as well, because when creatine is digested in the body, it hits the gastrointestinal tract, and then it's sent to the liver, and the liver actually synthesizes the creatine. And there's a protein transport mechanism, a creatine transport mechanism, just like in carnitine transport, where it actually transports creatine directly into the muscle cells. And the way it actually works is when creatine enters the muscle cell, there is something called creatine kinase, which kinases allow enzymes to transfer molecules back and forth. So when we're at rest, our body's producing ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and we're storing up ATP. But what happens is there's only a certain amount of ATP within our mitochondria, which is located throughout our whole body, that the body wants to store. So there's a limit. So it will stop either producing ATP, or it wants to get rid of a phosphate molecule and attach it to something to turn into ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate. That's where you get the 3 phosphates, di, and you get the 2 phosphates. So taking creatine and saturating your muscle cells, and by it being transported directly into the muscle cells, into the mitochondria, creatine in the mitochondria is used as a kind of a quick mechanism for energy production, because we have that body limits the amount of ATP that's being produced. So if creatine is in the cell, the need for ATP is rapidly reproduced, because creatine kinase is constantly taking, if creatine's in a cell, it's taking that overdrawn ATP slashing off a phosphate and already transferring it into the creatine, which makes it creatine phosphate or phosphocreatine that is in the cell. So when you start training, you start working out really hard, it'll actually utilize and generate more energy quickly as far as ATP within the muscle cells. Hope that makes sense. So good forms of creatine. We're going to get right into this right here. Let me jump in here. I'm going to go into consumer labs. Let me get on this here. There we go. So they did, Consumer Labs took a bunch of creatine supplements, and one of these actually I have to review. It's by Old School Labs, and I'm actually taking it right now to do a review on it pretty soon. We have, I should set this up for you guys. I'm so sorry. Busy day. So creatine supplements that have passed tests. We have bulk supplements, 5 grams of creatine, gave an approval here. So it's got less than 0.2 milligrams of creatine. It's got nothing in there that's harsh. Then we have next on the list, which is GNC Pro Performance. It's got 3.5 grams of creatine, checked okay. These are just in case you guys are looking for creatines that have actually been tested under laboratory conditions to make sure that the right amount of creatine is in there. And also that there is nothing, no contaminants in the creatine. We got Legion. I've heard this about Legion. They have quality products. The owner actually runs through tests and tested on his own. 5 grams of creatine mono were found in that. Creatine is 0.56 milligrams. We got Optimum. There's quite a few of them. True Creatine's been approved. Thorn Creatine. We got Universals. Looks like it's been approved. There, 5 grams mono. Those are those chewables. And then here we got combinations here. So this is a creatine combination, which I'm going to review pretty soon. I actually have in the cupboard here. I've been taking it every day. This is Old School Labs Vintage Build. This has 3 grams of creatine. I think it's 1 or 2 grams of glutamate, which we'll talk about in the review. And then it's got branched amino acids. I forgot how many were in there. Does it say it in here? Yeah, it does. Right down on the bottom, as you can see right there. You guys can read that. And then there's branched amino acid products down below. So once again, before we get into the talking more about the creatine, we got Universal, we got Old School Labs. If you're looking for a combination, we have Thorn's been approved. True Creatine. This is by PES. It's a company that's owned by. Who are they owned by? They're owned by another company that owns quite a few different companies. Then we got Optimum Nutrition, Legion, GNC Pro Performance, and bulk supplements. So those are all approved and actually have been laboratory tested with no contaminants and to have the right amount per serving of creatine that's in there. So that's a big deal with a lot of supplements out here. Now, creatine itself, creatine mono, like I said, in the studies has been shown. I'm going to switch this over here for a second. I'm going to switch it over to another screen here. Go back to, so I didn't show you guys the study. Oh, shoot. I think it was this one right here. There we go. Hook her up, hook them up. Let me see here. This is about absorption. So creatine is mostly actively absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract in a similar way to amino acids and peptides, and distribution of creatine throughout the body is largely determined by the presence of creatine transporters. So I was talking a little bit about earlier too about this goes into the gastrointestinal tract, then it goes into the liver. If you have any kind of liver disease or liver malfunctions like us as diabetics would have, then the transport mechanism of creatine can make you a non-responder because the liver might not synthesize creatine like it's supposed to. So if you are one of those people that doesn't really get a good reaction from creatine, then that could be a reason there. The best thing to do on that is to just make sure your liver health is up. So NAC is a good supplement to actually supplement with. I actually had a buddy on IG that sent me a post. Tank, I think it was. I think Tank sent me a post where he took NAC. His liver enzymes were up. Took NAC for I think it was about a month, and he got his liver enzymes checked again, and they were all leveled out just from taking NAC. So NAC and milk thistle is a good combination if you think you're having some kind of liver stress going on there. What was the other one here? I'm trying to find. Stop that one there. Let's see. It is effective. Best types of creatine. We got that. Efficiency alternatives. This is the one, I think. So this is a study right here. On these studies, the abstract is, if you want quick information, go to the abstract. You can go down and read the methods and all this stuff if you want. This is the actual title of the review. The journal was at the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research. Right down the bottom here, it says a review of the marketplace shows that creatine mono is the lowest cost form of creatine due to the studies on alternatives of forms of creatines, as well as high prices on the market of these alternative forms. Creatine mono remains the most extensively studied, hundreds and hundreds of studies on this form of creatine that shows efficiency, safety, and lowest cost to consumer. All right. Now, creatine and health. There's been hundreds and hundreds of studies on health. And I want those of you that are like me, who have underlying conditions with liver, kidney, pancreas. Those are all the three sections of the body where creatine is actually metabolized in the body. And then it's transported from those particular portions of the body into muscle cells. So liver most extensively. Kidneys actually remove creatinine, which is the breakdown of muscle tissue, and creatine in the muscle cells. So the more muscle you have, the higher your creatine levels are going to be. If you go to see a doctor, and let's say you are someone that's my size, you're going to have higher creatine levels than a normal person. It's just going to be that way. And if your doctor knows what they're doing and they look at you and they go, oh, okay, he's got like 18, 19-inch biceps, he's got a big chest. Yeah, he's breaking down. He's in the gym. He's breaking down muscle tissue. He's utilizing creatine stores from his body. Yeah, his creatinine is going to be a lot higher. But that is a marker that a lot of doctors use to actually, as a signal to them, like a red flag, when creatinine on a normal person is really high, that you have a problem with your kidneys. So if you're actually seeing a doctor and they don't know this already, then it's just my advice: find a doctor that can actually look at you as an individual and not just not comparing you to someone else that is different than yourself, and to get the right answers. But always listen to your doctor. Don't listen to me over your doctor. The kidneys, liver, and pancreas, like I said, are involved with creatine formation or distribution in the body, removal of the body, and all that stuff. So diabetics, people with diabetes, be conscious of how much creatine you're taking. Do not overdo it. 3 to 5 grams should be efficient. 3 grams is fine for someone over or under 200 pounds, in between 170 and 200. And if you're over 200, just by a bit, like me, you can go up a gram. You don't really need to waste your money on, even though it's a cheap supplement, on a lot of creatine. If you get an upset stomach on creatine, I have tried creatine HCl, creatine hydrochloride, which is I've had good results with myself. And what that has shown through anecdotal evidence is most people do not have gastrointestinal problems. They don't feel the bloating in the stomach and stuff like that. All creatines are going to hydrate the cells. Creatine is an osmolalite, just like betaine anhydrous, just like taurine. So some things that you can combine creatine with. As a type 1 diabetic, I combine creatine with taurine. And the reason for that is because I'm already excreting, I'm urinating more than the average person, because my sugars are never level. They're always higher. So my body's always trying to get rid of sugars. So when you are urinating a lot, you are removing electrolytes out of your body. You are imbalancing hydration in the body, which to me, hydration is electrolytes and cellular hydration. So water and electrolytes combined. Taurine is used by the body already to actually do that function. So a good combination for diabetics, if they're going to take creatine and they want to be cautious, they want to kind of throw something in there to make sure they don't get dehydrated, fatigued, And also they want to regulate their glucose levels, which creatine already does a little bit. They can actually supplement with taurine as well, like 1 gram of taurine with 3 grams of creatine, or 3 to 5 grams of creatine, and that'll help kind of ensure that the creatine is going to be an osmolyte drawing water in and out of the cell. And taurine, if you are low in taurine, like most diabetics are, most people who train really hard, most of us that actually take beta alanine and love it in our pre-workouts. Beta alanine shares the same transport mechanism as taurine, and it overpowers taurine when we're training. So when we take beta alanine, even though it's a short hit of pins and needles, it's still going to stick with you, and it's going to interfere with the body's natural mechanism of upregulating taurine to control hydration and electrolyte levels. So if you're looking for an intra pre-workout, look for taurine in it, just so you can kind of have some taurine while you're drinking through your workout to balance out and help for health purposes, electrolytes, and water. Hope I'm not jumping around all over the place here. I got a lot of information stored up here in this noggin. So betaine anhydrous is a good thing to stack with creatine if you want to find, if you're looking for creatine supplements. It is an osmolyte as well, with water coming in and out of the cells. But I don't talk about this in a lot of my videos. Betaine anhydrous has a lot of other beneficial effects through studies. It has actually been shown for training to lower cortisol levels. It's also been shown to keep testosterone leveled, so not to increase it. It helps with liver function. And if you are a diabetic or someone who's concerned about your liver function, if so you drink, stuff like that, but you're just, just concerned about it, betaine anhydrous is a fantastic ingredient to stack with creatine, because it also has some liver benefits to it as well. So 3 ingredients stacking for hydration, energy output, and endurance: creatine, betaine anhydrous, and taurine are fantastic ingredients as a stack with creatine. Now, when do you take creatine? Tons of studies. We probably already know this, but I'm just trying to pick everything out of my brain I can to throw your way. But creatine is best taken whenever you can freaking damn well get it in. Because no matter what you do, I know there's this thing about taking creatine with heightened insulin levels, so insulin can shuttle creatine into the muscles, but everything you consume is going to create an insulin spike. Amino acids are going to create an insulin spike. When you're training, you're going to create an insulin spike, believe it or not, because your body's going to be going through CAMP spikes, cyclic GMP spikes, which are second messengers to release glucose, release fatty acids, and the body's always trying to regulate it. So it doesn't matter if you eat or not, you're going to get it, sugar spikes. You're going to get insulin. You're going to need insulin. So it's going to happen. So taking creatine before your workout with your pre-workout's fine. Taking it during it as an intro, which I love to do as an intro, because I know I take a shot of insulin before I train, because I get spikes during training, and it helps. I feel it helps with the shuttling in of the creatine into the muscles. And taking it after is fine too. Taking it with a protein shake. You don't need any carbs, because protein itself, the leucine in the protein, is actually going to spike insulin levels as well. So leucine spikes insulin. Trying to see comments here. Yeah, Fabian, less fatigue and output. Don't drink coffee after noon and take my creatine at night. Yeah, that's good. And you take creatine any time of the day. Metal Maniac. I love the names, man. George Garage Gym Homie. What do you say? What's up? Here to give my boy David love. This is a great intel. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. If you don't follow GGH, go follow him. Most honest, heart-driven individual out there on YouTube doing supplements reviews, and actually cares a lot about individuals outside of the supplements. Go follow him. Alpha Yo been killing me. I stopped taking it. Yeah. So certain things are going to create a diuretic effect in your body, like yohimbine and Alpha Yo. So it's great that you brought that up. It is going to, when you feel fatigued, when your brain feels wonky, and I know Ari pretty much does the same thing. He's drinking water all day long. Lack of hydration is going to really blunt any kind of progress in the gym and your gains. One thing I do want to mention is do not rely on creatine alone for muscle mass. So you got to make sure your diet's in check. I'm sure most of you guys already know this, but some of you guys that are watching don't know this. Creatine is not a magic supplement. It's going to take 3 to 4 weeks if you're taking a regular dose for creatine to actually saturate the cells to where you can actually utilize creatine phosphate in the mitochondria for that more energy production. Some people will feel it in 2 to 3 weeks. It just depends on the absorption, depends on how much you're taking. There's no reason to do a loading phase on creatine mono if that's what you decide to take. If you want to, you can. It's 15 to 20 grams a day for 5 days, and it's supposed to get you there faster. But I've been doing this for a long time. I've been taking supplements. I'm 54 since I was 22, 23 years old. And we talked a lot about everything back then as well. And loading phases didn't do much as far as delivering more, other than possibly overloading your system with creatine kinase, your kidneys, your pancreas, and putting some extra taxine on your liver. So I don't advise that. You're going to get to where you want to get slowly but surely. You're going to start noticing some slow progress within the 3rd week of supplement of 3 to 5 grams of creatine. Trying to think of what else. I already showed you guys the supplements there. I mean, I can go on and on about talking about things. Yeah, make sure you're drinking a lot of water. Soda strength. Would you take creatine if you run a little high in creatine kinase levels? Mine is always around 400 days at the gym beforehand and drinking enough water. Soto, yeah. Just so you know, I don't know how much muscle you carry, but make sure if you're seeing a doctor about your creatine kinase that they are taking into consideration, because if you're training 5, 6 days a week like most of us, and you're really pounding it out, the breakdown of muscle along with the breakdown of creatine to produce the ATP is going to elevate your creatinine levels. So a doctor that doesn't take that into consideration and sees just the creatine levels high and comparing you to just a normal person, I think I went over this in the beginning of the video, is going to right away say, we got to figure out what's going on. Your creatine levels are too high. So it's normal for individuals that train real hard and carry a lot of muscle mass to have higher creatinine levels. Just keep drinking your body weight in ounces or more. I'm 215. I drink about 1.5 gallons a day. That's my sweet spot to where my glucose is regulated and fatigue is low. And I just try to get as much in as I can. But yeah, do always go by what your doctor says, but do make sure when you're talking to your doctor, if they are talking about your creatinine levels, that they are bringing up, yeah, I know you carry a lot of muscle mass. I know you take creatine. So they're not directly just throwing you into getting your kidneys checked and everything and thinking that you're falling apart. So just a piece of advice. I had a doctor that was always talking about my creatinine levels, and I had to take in consideration that the doctor, I appreciated the doctor's concern, and my creatine levels were not that much higher than normal, but I was training 5 or 6 days a week. I carry a decent amount of muscle, not a substantial amount of muscle, decent amount of muscle. So, and I'm always breaking down. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so my muscles, I'm already in a breakdown stage to where my creatine levels are just running higher than the normal person. And I, to this day, this was years ago, I to this day haven't had any problems ever since. But I do go off and on creatine because of that fact, just the extra creatinine. I'll take creatine myself for a couple months, could be 3 months, and then I'll take a month off and I'll go back on it because I don't rely on creatine to build my muscle. It's just more, for me, it's ATP production. Even though the studies show lean mass and all this stuff has been up, but I try not to rely too much on the supplements to build muscle. To me, it's always been my diet, my sleep, my state of mind. So whether you peace of mind and cortisol levels, whether you pray, whether you sit there and you really just get in tune with yourself every day and just try to level yourself out. I think what my man Ari says, get out of here and get in here more often. It simple and totally makes sense. cortisol levels play a big role in muscle gains and overall happiness. So find your sweet spot. Definitely find your sweet spot. I was putting creatine in pre-workout. Fabian says, I put creatine in pre-workout. I'm taking 20 milligrams of yohimbine and 1 milligram of alpha yo daily. My fat burner. At first it was mild. It was nice. Now it's fine. Man, you're crazy. 20 milligrams of yohimbine plus alpha yo. Oh man, I give it up to you. I don't advise anybody following that. I took a pure alpha yo and pure yohimbine. It's 4 grams of yohimbine hits me pure yohimbine, like 3 milligrams of alpha yo. So anybody anywhere above that, like 3 milligrams alpha yo or 5 milligrams of yohimbine, I can't take it. I hate the I get not anxious, but I get these like weird feelings inside, head pinging like it's hollow. So I give it up to you, man. Someone said they were banned. Yeah, not sure why. Hopefully it's saved. Yeah, I meant that's a lot of yohimbine there, bro. I don't know if I take that much. Mr. Plenty, I was taking less than 1 milligram of alpha yo, and I had all the side effects. I stopped taking it after that thought. Yeah, it's an acquired ingredient. Some people are just more sensitive. If you can, try 1 milligram of yohimbine. It's not going to hit as hard, but I'll tell you right now from experience, the effects of yohimbine and the effects of alpha yo, in the end, they have the same effects, but the actual side effects are different. They hit different. They're good as a combo for some people. Some people can stand alpha yo. Some people can't. Some people can stand yohimbine. You might even want to try, this is for Mr. Plenty, you might even want to try yohimbine bark, to where it might have, I think, I'm trying to think of the company that has it out there, but there's a few companies that have the bark out there where it's 2.5 milligrams of yohimbine out of the bark. So you get extra added benefits with the extra ingredients in the bark for fat loss and energy production, but it stays with you for a long time. So you take that and you don't get those initial side effects, but they come on about 4 or 5 hours later. So because it's the whole bark and it's not a concentrated extract. So, but alpha yo puts all right, alpha yo puts hair on your chest. Oh yeah, one of the best stem ingredients after you learn to love it. I agree. You do have to learn to love it, bro. Yep. Just like a lot of these ingredients out here. So wait, finishing this off, because I'm going off on a tangent here, and this isn't just like, I wasn't planning on doing like all kinds of different ingredients. Maybe I'll do a video to where I'll let you guys know beforehand, just in case you guys have any questions, and then I can try to keep track of the questions on the side and answer them one by one on the different ingredients. But with creatine, supplements that you can stack with it, there's taurine, betaine, and hydrous. Those are going to keep you hydrated. Betaine works different than creatine, and it has a lot of benefits in combo with creatine. If you're looking for muscle growth, before you go, and there has been some very good studies on taking HMB and creatine together as far as increasing muscle mass. I think there was 2 of them that were out there. So it is something for some of you to try. I do like HMB. It's a byproduct of leucine. So leucine, when it metabolizes in the body, one of the metabolites is HMB, and it's supposed to help with muscle growth. So it's something you can try in a combo with creatine. It's expensive. I've taken the creatine HMB combo, but I haven't taken HMB by itself, and I haven't taken dosages by themselves as well. I am a firm believer, though, these are all products of growth, things that actually secondary mechanisms of growing in the gym. The consistency has to be there. The diet has to be there, and the sleep has to be there before you go spending a ton of money on different ingredients. Because once you get the diet in check, the training and consistency in check, the mindset in check, then that's when you start actually diving into these other combinations and supplements for muscle growth, because it's a waste if you're not. Like if you're not consistent, you're only consistent 2 weeks at a time, which I know a lot of guys are like that, and life just takes you over sometimes. If you're only consistent for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and then you drop off, why the hell spend the money on something that's supposed to, help you build muscle when you're not being consistent with it? So get all that stuff in check. That's just my 2 cents. Other than that, my wife says that should be my catchphrase. Other than that, I'm gonna get going. And what up, Lewis? I'm gonna get going, and I'm gonna try to do this every Sunday. I'm trying to think of topics. If you guys have any advice on topics we can do, like the next Sunday topic, go ahead and leave it in the comments after this video when it's posted, and then we will jump on here and I'll do my best. I'm only here to try to. I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself just someone who has experimented a lot, and I've tried a lot of different things, and I am definitely not here to sell you a damn thing. I'm just trying to help out. And then also at the same time, make sure you guys are doing things healthy and making sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck on certain things that you invest in. So if your training's not there, your diet's not there, certain supplements, just don't even bother. Stick with pre-workouts, stick with creatine, stick with protein powders. If you want to stick with some stuff, creatine alone is going to help with energy production. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time on the channel. I'm going to get going. I got to eat some dinner. We'll see you guys. You guys have a great night, okay? Thanks for stopping by. Bye.